नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद निताय गौर हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल। Hare Krishna everyone. So a warm welcome to today's Saturday session. So on the last Saturday, do you remember that the last Sunday we had done a special session in which we had discussed about surrendering to Lord, and then the sun, how it takes away our life and how we have to engage in this Krishna consciousness, all our senses and our mind. And then we shared some practical tips and learnings also towards the end. And just the day before that, on the previous Saturday, we had completed shlokas up to shloka number 19. So today we'll be starting with 1.20. So all of you can open your Bhagavad Gita's chapter 1, verse number 20. I'll also screen share here if someone does not have their Gitas with them. Then we will start with the recitation word by word, and then I'll ask one person to recite it after me. So, yes. Bhagavad Gita 1.20. So we are starting with the shloka. One word after another, you have to keep yourself on mute and then try to repeat it after me, okay? Atha, atha, vyavasthitan, vyavasthitan, drishtva, drishtva, dhartarashtran, dhartarashtran, kapi. This is kapi and this is dhwaja. And this is one word, so this is kapi dhwaja. Okay, so this is atha vyavasthitan drishtva dhartarashtran kapi dhwaja. Okay, then we go ahead. Pravartate, pravartate, shastra sampate, because there is this line above a, so this becomes a, so this sampate, so it becomes shastra sampate. So this becomes pravrittate shastra sampate. Dhanur, dhanur, udyamya, udyamya, pandava, pandava. So this becomes dhanur, udyamya, pandava. Okay. Then rishikesham, rishikesham, tada, tada, vakyam, vakyam, idam, idam, aha. So this is ah, and the last a is normal so it becomes aha, aha. And then this is one word, mahipate, mahipate. So the whole verse goes like this: atha vyavasthitan drishtva dhartarashtran kapi dhwaja pravritte shastra sampate dhanur udyamya pandava rishikesham tada vakyam idam aha mahipate. So who wants to give it a try?
Mataji, I have the devotee place where I am. His son will recite it. He knows all the Gita slok by heart, so he will speak this one. Okay.
Yes.
So yeah. Okay, you want to say?
व्यवस्थितान् दृष्ट्वा धार्तराष्ट्रान् कपिध्वजाः प्रवृत्ते शस्त्रसम्पाते धनुर्यम्य पाण्डवः ऋषिकेशं तदा वाक्यमिदमाह महीपते.
Thank you so much.
Yes, Mataji. Yeah, he's such a blessed kid here in the temple, and he speaks all the sloks, recites very well. How old are you?
He's now 8.
He's 8 years old.
Okay, so I need your blessings. Please bless me also. Hare Krishna. So, Shrey, would you like to give it a try also?
Not anymore. But yeah. Atha
Yes.
vyastatinan drishtva dhartatastran kapi davja
Vaja.
pravete shastra sampate dhanur udyama pandava
Rishikesham.
rishikesham tada vakyam idam aha mahipate.
Yes, thank you so much. Devin, would you also like to try?
Sure. Ata Vyas Fansitan Distrava Dar Dardastran Kapidivaja
Yes.
Pravate Sastra Sampade Danur Udyama Pandava Hirsi Gausam Tada Vakyam Idam Aham
Yes.
Mahipate.
Yes, thank you so much. So now we'll go towards the translation and purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Sahib, can you read the translation?
Yeah. At the time, Arjuna, the son of Pandu, seated in the chariot bearing the flag marked with Hanuman, took up his bow and prepared to shoot his arrows. O king, after looking at the sons of Dhritarashtra drawn in military array, Arjuna then spoke to Lord Krishna these words.
Okay. So Arpan, can you read the purport for us?
Yeah. The battle was just about to begin. It is understood from the above statement that the sons of Dhritarashtra were more or less disheartened by the unexpected arrangement of military force by the Pandavas, who were guided by direct instructions of Lord Krishna on the battlefield. The emblem of Hanuman on the flag of Arjuna is a sign of victory, because Hanuman cooperated with Lord Ram in the battle between Ram and Ravan, and Lord Ram emerged victorious. Now both Ram and Hanuman were present on the chariot of Arjuna to help him. Lord Krishna is Ram himself, and wherever Lord Ram is Taros. Servitor Hanuman and eternal consort Sita, the goddess of fortune, and are present. Therefore, Arjuna has no cause to fear any enemies whatsoever. And above all, the Lord of the senses, Lord Krishna, was personally present to give him direction. Thus, all good counsel was available to Arjuna in the matter of executing the battle. In such auspicious conditions, Arjuna, arranged by the Lord for his eternal devotee, laid aside to assured victory.
Yes, thank you so much. So before jumping on the purport and translation, first we will understand the flow where this shloka, where this translation is coming from. So in the last class, we had learned, can anyone tell me what was the effect of the tumultuous sound of the conch shells, which everyone blew? What was the effect of the conch shell? Yes.
It like shattered the sons of what?
Dhritarashtra.
Duryodhana's brothers. Yeah, shattered the hearts of Dhritarashtra's sons.
Yes, yes. So this was the effect when everyone, especially the Pandavas, when they blew their conch shells. So what happened was that the heart of Duryodhana and the heart of the Kauravas were tearing apart. Yes. And what was the condition of the heart of the Pandavas?
They became more confident about the war.
Yes. So what was it that they were confident and they were fearful? The sound was same, but why were they fearful and why were they confident? Yes, Sahil?
Krishna is on the Pandava side.
Yes, Krishna was on their side. And then we also learned that the one who have committed a lot of sins, their heart becomes weak. Just as I told you, when you commit some mistake and when you're accountable to someone, what happens to your heart? Thug, 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 thug. It starts to run very fast. Yes, as if it is tearing apart. So this was the same thing that was happening to the Kauravas, because they had committed so much sin and offense, because they were adharmic. Yes, therefore they were accustomed to fear, anxiety, stress, and their heart was tearing apart when they heard this conch shell, all the conch shells voice, especially the ones which the Pandavas and Krishna blew. Yes. So in this verse, actually, 1.20, it is actually the real start of the Bhagavad Gita as it is. Till now, what had happened till now? Till now, both the armies were set on the battlefield. Both of them were observing each other. Yes, but in this verse, from this words onwards, what will happen? Now the conversation between Krishna and Arjuna, the Bhagavad Gita will start. This is the opening gate. opening verse, opening shloka. Yes, so what Dhritarashtra wanted to hear everything from Sanjaya, that, oh Sanjaya, tell me everything from the start. From the point they assembled on the battlefield, what happened? Yes, this was the verse 1.1 that we heard. Oh Sanjaya, when my sons and the sons of Pandu, desiring to fight, assembled on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, what happened next? So he wanted to know everything. And now Sanjay starts describing the conversation between Krishna and Arjuna. Yes, so from the verses that will follow, Arjun will speak to Krishna and Krishna will respond back. So that is of great interest to us. So now what has happened is, see the difference. On one side, Arjuna, he has his bow and arrow fully loaded. He stands with a strong heart, with erect chest, because he does not have any fear. Why does he not have any fear? Is because he is totally surrendered to Lord. And we also learned that the amount to which we will surrender to Lord, that amount we will become fearless. Right, I also told you what is another name of Prabhupada, Abhay Charan. Abhay means he is without any fear or anxiety. Yes, because he's taken complete shelter of Lord. So therefore, Arjuna took all of his weapons and he was fully ready to fight with all vigor. But on the other hand, see Duryodhan. He is feeling so scared that he is approaching whom? Whom did he approach to tell his anxiety to? His fearful condition too. Yes, Sahil?
Was it Dronacharya?
Yes. So he went to his guru, his master Dronacharya, and he told, my God, see what is happening. You all also answered this in your test, right? That see, your own student has created this military arrangement. Will you not do anything? Just fold your arms and just sit in front of me? No. Yes, because he was very fearful of the Pandavas. Yes, did every one of you go through the result of your exam that I had sent you through WhatsApp? Yes, if anyone has not gone through it, then they can go through it, because towards the end I will discuss that also. Okay. So Arjun was with full enthusiasm. Yes. And then with that full enthusiasm to fight, he spoke some words to Krishna. And who is Krishna? Krishna is his Lord, his master, his best friend, the master of his senses and mind. So therefore, it is said that Arjun says and speaks some words to Krishna. Do you know who was the first person who blew the conch shell on the battlefield? The first.
Krishna?
Who?
No, Bhishma.
Yes, Bhishma. So Bhishma Dev blew first the conch shell. And he did not, why is the blowing of the conch shell, why does the blowing actually takes place? To indicate that when the Kauravas will blow, we are ready to fight. When the Pandavas will blow, we are ready to fight. Now the war will begin. It is not that they both will come in the battlefield and just start to fight. No, first they have to indicate, we are ready, we are ready. Now let's fight. So actually Bhishma did not blow the conch shell to indicate that now we are ready. Why did he blow the conch shell? Was to make Duryodhan happy. Because Duryodhan was again and again saying, see, these Pandavas, by your heart, I know you are from their side. I know you will not fight properly for me. And then Bhishma Dev, only to make him happy, blew the conch shell with a lot of enthusiasm to show, to console Duryodhan that don't cry, I am with you and I will fight. So just to make Duryodhan happy, he blew the conch shell. Now as I told now, when the conch shell from both the sides blew, then we see one side Arjuna is very enthusiastic and full of vigor, full of enthusiasm, without any fear, he fights the battle. And on the other side, we see how Duryodhan, out of fear and duplicity, he approached whom? He approached Dronacharya. So one side we see that he is completely fearless. Why? Because he's taken shelter of Lord. And on the other side, we see he is completely full of fear and anxieties. Why? Because he has not taken shelter of Lord. Yes. And therefore, did you read one word that came in this? See, this word. Dhartarashtran. What does this word mean? Actually, Dhartarashtra, see here, it means the sons of Dhritarashtra. But it actually means Dhartarashtra means the ones who plunder wealth, the ones who plunder land, the ones who plunder others' riches. Therefore, they're called Dhartarashtra, the ones who plunder. And it suits to the Kauravas. Why? They are actually plundered everything from the Pandavas, not even gave them the land equivalent to the tip of a needle. Yes. So therefore, that means the sons of Dhritarashtra. Now, what will be the need of Arjuna to actually fear his enemies? Because Lord is with him, so he has nothing to fear. Therefore, he fights with full vigor and with a mighty attitude and enthusiasm. And therefore, you notice one more word that comes here. This is Kapi Dhwaja. Yes. Now, Kapi means Vanara. Yes. And Dhwaja means flag. So, do all of you know who is Hanuman? I hope we all know who is Hanuman. Yes, Sahil? You know who is Hanuman, right? Yes. And you know who is Vanar? What does Vanar mean? No or yes? No or yes? No. Okay. Be honest. No, so no. Vanar. Vanar means one who is a human also and and a monkey also. Nara. Nara means human and Vanara means not human also, not monkey also. So you've seen Hanuman, right? He was in a form of a human, but still a monkey. So he was Vanara. So Hanuman and we say na Ram and his Vanar Sena. What is Vanar Sena? The army of monkeys. They were not actually monkeys, they were human and monkey both. So they were called Vanara. So actually, Kapi means monkey and Dhwaja. Dhwaja means flag. So do you see there are many chariots and there is flag upon that chariot. So the flag that was on the chariot of Arjuna was marked with Hanuman. See, I'll show you. 1 second. Here. See, this way. This was the chariot of Arjuna, which was actually, and the flag upon this was marked with Hanuman. So therefore, it is called Kapi Dhwaja. The flag is marked with Kapi, that is a monkey, Hanuman. So the symbol, so you have to remember this. The symbol of Arjun's flag was whom? It was marked with the symbol of Hanuman. Now, see, it holds a very great significance in the war of Mahabharata. Yes, see, what was the story was actually, it was not only that Hanuman's picture was drawn. No, Hanuman was himself present. Hanuman was himself present in the war by that symbol. See, what had happened was when the Pandavas were in the exile in the forest, there was a Sahasradal Kamal. Now, what is that? It was a Sahasradal, many petaled lotus. 100 or even more petaled lotus, Sahasra, many petaled actually. Lotus was there. So, who is Draupadi? Devin will tell. Who is Draupadi? Try.
Not Krishna's wife. No, it's Arjun's wife of the Pandavas.
Yes,
Yeah.
perfect. The wife of the 5 Pandavas. So when they were all in exile, Draupadi saw this lotus, many petaled lotus that blew through the wind and it came near her. So she asked Bhim, who was one of the Pandavas, that can you get me a fresh lotus just like this one? This has been very dusty because this, this flew through the air and this now has come here. Although it is very beautiful, but it is very dusty. Can you bring me one good many petaled lotus? So Bhim, in order to please Draupadi, he said, okay, I'll get one. So he went in the mountains to search for that lotus. So there he saw one Vanar. sitting there. And that Vanar had actually blocked the way of Bhim. Yes, so Bhim did not know who that Vanar was. He just knew that that Vanar had blocked his way for him to go ahead in search of that lotus. So he said, "Hey, you, Vanar, just get aside. I want to go ahead in search of that lotus." Vanar said, "Oh, I am retired now and I am very old. I cannot, I am very tired and I'm very old. I cannot get up. Now I am sitting here. Now, if you want to go, then you move my tail. So the Vanar was sitting here and the tail was laying like this. So the tail had actually blocked the way of Bhim. So he said that the Vanar said that if you want to go ahead, then just pick my tail up and move it aside. Bhim was like, "You don't know who I am. What about your tail? I'll throw you aside. I have the strength of thousands of elephants. Get aside, or else it will not be good for you." Vanar said, "What good? Not good for me. Just try picking up my tail." So Bhim, with his left hand, very delicately started to pick up the tail of that Vanar. He thought that no, the delicacy of my hand is not working. I have to put some strength. So with the left hand, he started to put some strength. Then he noticed, no, this is not working. Then another hand, he started to pick up the tail with both the hands. With all of his efforts, the efforts of thousands of elephants, he put all the efforts and he was not able to pick the tail up even 1 centimeter from the ground. Then he got to know this Vanar is not ordinary. Who is this Vanar? This Vanar was actually Hanuman. Hanuman had come there. So it was actually a jungle of bananas. So Hanuman had come here for his breakfast. He was retired now from the army of Ramji. He was retired now. So now Bhimsen said that I am very sorry that I did not recognize you. Hanuman said that I am happy now that at least your ego is gone. Now Bhimsen said that we want your help. This war of Mahabharata is going to happen. So Hanuman said that yes, I know that the war of Mahabharata is going to happen and I will be personally present there. Bhimsen said, "You will be personally present? How?" So Hanuman said that I will be there on the flag of Arjuna. I will personally sit on the flag of Arjuna. See, what can a driver do? A driver can move forward, backward, left and right. Yes. If some arrow is coming from back, he will move forward. From forward, he will move back. From left, he will move right. From right, he'll move left. But what if some arrow is coming straight on you? What will he do? Can a driver move the chariot up and down? No, he cannot do that. But Hanuman said, I will do that. I will sit on the chariot of Arjuna and I will move the chariot up and down. If some arrow comes from up, I'll move the chariot down. If some arrow comes from down, I'll move the chariot up. Then he said that I will also be present in the in your roar. So Hanuman said that in Bhim's roar, I will be personally present. You know what is a roar? When someone goes to kill the enemy, first he roars. Yes, first he takes out some voice, he roars, and then he goes to kill that person. He's not that he will go la 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 killed. No, he is full of anger. So he will roar, he will shout, and then he will kill the person. So Bhimsen has had such a terrific shout that whenever he used to shout and roar, the person would be killed from his roar only. He did not have to move his gada at all. From the roar only, people used to get killed because he had his voice and the voice of Hanuman attached. So this was one weapon, a secret weapon that Bhimsen had. Yes. So this is why it is called Kapidhwaja. We are trying to break down the shloka. Okay. Then one more thing that here it is. See, I'll show you. Sorry, not this. See, Rishikesham. See, one more word that is used here is Rishikesham. Now do you know another name of Krishna is Rishikesh? Now this is very important. Another name of Krishna is Rishikesh. Why? Because he's actually the controller of everyone's mind, intelligence, and senses. He is the controller of numerous universes. He is the controller of numerous living beings, numerous senses, mind, and intelligence. Yes, so he is actually the supreme authority. Krishna is actually the supreme authority. And Arjun is actually seeking guidance from whom? He seeks high grade guidance from Krishna, who is the master of all. Yes, everyone's mind and senses regulator is with Krishna. Actually, the war was not important. Krishna has the regulator of everyone. He has the switch off and switch on's power. So he could easily, regulate the mind of Duryodhan. Right now, he is very adharmic. He could regulate the mind and make him dharmic. Yes, because Krishna is the controller of everyone. He can control everyone's senses, everyone's mind, everyone's intelligence. Yes, we don't have any choice of our own. We actually, Krishna is actually controlling everyone. Numerous universes he is maintaining, he is protecting, he is maintaining, he is protecting, he is sustaining numerous universes and numerous living entities. Then why did the war happen? What was the need of the war? How could Bhagavad Gita reach us until the war happened? Yes, until how would Bhagavad Gita is actually the manual of mankind. So until and unless this war took place, the manual of mankind would not have reached us. Then we will be without any goal, without any purpose, without any aim, without any direction in our life. So we are blessed by Krishna that this Bhagavad Gita is with us. Yes. Do you know who is Mahatma Gandhi? Here, a great personality of India. On every rupee, there is his picture. Yes, Mahatma Gandhi. Yes, Sahir, you're showing me your room's fan. I don't want to see the fan, I want to see you. Yes. So there is a great personality called Mahatma Gandhi. But he was a great personality, full of austerity. Yes, do you know he did a lot of austerity, full of determination, truthfulness. Yes, and he was actually a renounced personality. Yes, and he had won the heart of many people, many people. He used to even read the Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada even wrote, many letters to him. But those letters did not reach Mahatma Gandhi. He was a great personality, but there was only one mistake. He even used to read Bhagavad Gita. He used to practice tapasya, determination. He was renounced, very truthful, having won the heart of many, a very generous person trying to help the whole mankind. But can you guess what was the one mistake? Even read Bhagavad Gita, but what was that one mistake? Due to which we don't take him as our authority. Because he didn't have any authority. Yes, he did not have any bona fide spiritual master. He did not have any source. He was reading Bhagavad Gita, but from his own mental speculations, from his mind. He was not reading the Bhagavad Gita as it is. Prabhupada was ready to become his spiritual master. But no letter of Prabhupada actually reached Mahatma Gandhi, and therefore he ended up dying because he did not take guidance from anyone. He had everything, but the only lacking aspect was that he didn't have any bona fide authority. He was doing everything independently, reading Bhagavad Gita, but from his speculative mind. Unless and until we've discussed in our DYS also, unless and until you submissively approach a spiritual master, take his guidance, you cannot understand Bhagavad Gita. You cannot understand Bhagavad Gita from your mind. What will you understand? You will understand that Krishna is an ordinary being. But this is, you not even read B of Bhagavad Gita. First, you have to understand that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. And that you can only understand from a bona fide spiritual master and from devotees. So that was the lacking aspect of Mahatma Gandhi. If that would have been there, then the world would be in a better place. And his life also would have been in actually the lotus feet of Lord. But Arjuna had that guidance. Who was there to guide Arjuna? Lord Krishna himself. Lord Krishna himself was present there to guide Arjuna. So he surrendered to Lord fully, and therefore he had nothing to fear. Yes, this is what is being told to us in this shloka. So I'll go through the purport. Yes. So let us read it once more so we'll be able to understand it better. At that time, Arjuna, the son of Pandu, seated in the chariot, bearing the flag marked with Hanuman, took up his bow and prepared to shoot his arrows. O king, after looking at the sons of Dhritarashtra drawn in military array, Arjun then spoke to Krishna these words. Yes, what do you understand by this translation? Can anyone share? What do you understand by this? Then we will move ahead.
Arjuna started maybe hesitating a little bit, and before shooting, he wanted to consult Krishna about something.
Yes. So as I told you that he was prepared to fight with all of his weapons, he then spoke to Krishna as follows. In the next verse, we'll read what he spoke to Krishna. So this is clear that his rath, his chariot was bearing the flag marked with Hanuman. This is clear to all. And how he was prepared to shoot his arrows. This is clear to all. Yes. So now in the purport, it is said that the battle was just about to begin. Because the conch shells were being blown. The battle was just about to begin. And it is understood from the above statement that the sons of Dhritarashtra were more or less disheartened by the unexpected military arrangement forced by the Pandavas. Yes, is this clear that they were disheartened? Who were guided by the direct instructions of Lord Krishna on the battle. This is clear that the Pandavas were directly guided by Lord Krishna. Then the emblem of Hanuman on the flag of Arjuna, this is clear, is another sign of victory because Hanuman cooperated with Lord Ram in the battle between Rama and Ravana, and Lord Rama emerged victorious. Yes, this is clear. What does the flag bearing Hanuman indicate? That Arjun will emerge victorious because between the battle of Rama and Ravana, who won? Lord Ram won. Because of whom? Hanuman. So therefore, if Hanuman is with the Pandavas and Rama is also there, who is Ram? How is Ram there? Who is Ram? Yes, Arpan?
He's like Krishna's, like,
Krishna.
I forgot the word is.
No, not different. Rama is Krishna only.
Yeah.
Then they're
Yeah.
not different. So if Krishna is there, that means Lord Ram is there. And if Hanuman is directly there, then they will definitely emerge victorious. Now both Rama and Hanuman were present on the chariot of Arjuna to help him. Lord Krishna is Lord Ram himself. And wherever Lord Ram is, his eternal servitor Hanuman and his eternal consort Sita, the goddess of fortune, are present. Is this clear to everyone? Any questions until here? Clear? Okay. Therefore, Arjuna had no cause to fear any enemies whatsoever. And above all, the Lord of the senses. Now, what is the name of Krishna because of which the Lord of the senses is mentioned here? Question. I just told you the name of Krishna, whose meaning is the Lord of the senses, the Lord of the mind, the Lord of the intelligence, the controller of everyone. What was the name? Does anyone remember? Starting from H, R, I.
Rishikesham. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, yes. Rishikesham. Okay, Rishikesh. This is a place here in India, Rishikesh. But anyways, this is one of the name of Krishna, Rishikesham. Okay. And above all, the goddess of, and above all, the Lord of the senses, Lord Krishna was personally present to give him full direction. Thus, all good counsel was available to Arjuna in the matter of executing the battle in such auspicious conditions arranged by the Lord for his eternal devotee lay the signs of assured victory. Clear to all? So we'll move to the next verse. The next two verses are combined, so we will complete 3 verses today. 1.20 we have covered, 1.21 and 22 we are covering. Okay, one word I'll say, so you repeat it after me. Arjuna, Arjuna, Uvacha, Uvacha, Senayor. So this is a very famous shloka. Senayor, Senayor, Ubhayor, Ubhayor, Madhye, Madhye, Ratham, Ratham, Sthapay. Okay, this is actually one. It's we say this in a flow, but I will try to break it down. Sthapaya, Sthapaya, me, and this is Achyuta. Wherever you see this, apostrophe sign, this is a. This is a. So this becomes Achyuta. Okay. Sthapaya, me, Achyuta. So this goes like this. Arjuna vacha senayorubhayor madhye ratham sthapaya me achyuta. Okay. Yavad etan nirikshe. So this is nirikshe aham. So nirikshe aham. Yodhu kamam avasthitan. So this is our one verse, and this 2 lines are the second one. So first we will be reading this one. Okay, I will tell you in one flow how this is read. So Arjuna vacha senayor ubhayor madhye ratham sthapaya me achyuta yavadetan nirikshayaham yodhu kamam avasthitan. Sahir.
Arjuna Uvacha Sanayor Uvayor Madhye Ratam Stapaya Ne Ushata Yavad Etan Rishke Aham Yodu Kaman Avashtitan.
Yes, beautiful. Thank you so much. Arpan.
Arjuna Uvacha Senyor Ubayor Madhya Pratam Stapaya Me Achyuta Yav Yatan Nirikshe Yodu Kaman Avishtitan.
Yes, thank you so much. Now these next 2 lines, okay? Care, Maya. Actually, this is Maya. Care, Maya, Saha, Yodhavyam, Asmin, Rana, Samudyame. So this goes like this. Ker maya saha yodhavyam asmin rana samudyame. Okay. Shrey, would you like to try?
Kar Maya
Maya.
Maya Saha Yudhyavyam Amin Rana Samudyam.
Yes, samudyame.
Samudyami.
Yes, Devin.
Kir Maya Saya Yoravyam Asmin Rana Samuyarame.
Samudyame.
Samudyame.
Yes, very nice. Okay, so this is Big Purport. First, we'll go with the translation. Who will read the translation? Shrey, maybe you can read. Shrey, yes.
Arjuna said, O infallible one, please draw my chariot between the 2 armies, so I may see those present here who desire to fight and with whom I must contend in this great trial of arms.
Yes. So first I'll explain it to you, then we'll read the purport. Okay. So So one second, what is Arjuna actually saying here? That see, now actually Arjuna is starting to speak. So as I said, this is actually the start of the Bhagavad Gita, the start of the conversation between Arjuna and Krishna. So Arjuna is starting to say, what does he say to Krishna? That please draw my chariot between the two armies so that I may see those present here who desire to fight and with whom I must contend in this great trial of arms. So what is he saying? That please bring my ratha, my chariot between the two armies. One army is standing here, one army is standing here. He's saying that bring me to this middle point. Now bring me to this middle point so that I can see who all are present here as my enemies, who all are present as my opponents, and who amongst them actually deserves to fight with me, whom I must contend in this great trial of arms. So he says that I will choose who I will fight with, who is actually deserving to fight with me. So kindly park my car. So please park my car between both the armies. This is what Arjuna is saying to Krishna. The first sentence that Arjuna says is Sena yor ubhayor madhye ratham sthapayam achyuta. He is saying that please park my car between both the armies so that I can see who all are my enemies. So the two things he wants to do is, first of all, see who all are my armies and who all are my opponents. Second, he wants to see all those whom he thinks is deserving to fight with me. This is a very weak player. He is not deserving to fight with me. Oh, yes, I shall fight with him. So he wants to do this, all of this judgment and everything. So, and there is one word. Did you notice one word that is coming here is Achyuta? Yes, you all pronounce that word, Achyuta. Achyuta is one of the very important names of Krishna. Achyuta. Achyuta, there are many names of Krishna. Can you give me one name that you know of Krishna except for Krishna?
Jagannath.
Yes?
Jagannath. Jagannath.
Jagannath.
Ram.
Hirshagam.
Ram.
Yadav. That's right.
Madhav.
Yes. What did you say, Shrey?
Ram.
Yes. And Devin, what did you say?
Hirshagam.
What?
Hirshagam, like controller of all senses. Or did I mispronounce
that
it?
is Rishikesham.
Oh, Rishikesham.
Rishikesh, you can say Rishikesham. Yes, just now we learned one name, Rishikesham, Madhava, Govinda, Damodar, Madhav, yes, Krishna, Nandanandan, Yashodanandan. There are many names of Krishna. Yes, Jagannath, Ram,
Dwarikadhish.
Dwarkadhish. Yes, Arpan, what did you say? You're on mute.
I said Madhav, but it was you said first.
Yes, Madhava. And now add one more name in your vocabulary. Achyuta. Yes, add this name, Achyuta. Now, what does Achyuta mean? Is Krishna is infallible. What does infallible mean? He cannot fall down. He cannot fall down from his position, his post, his respect of being God. He is God, he was God, and he will always be God. Yes, it will not be that today he is God, tomorrow he will become a human, and then the next day he will become God. No. He is God, he was God, and he will always be God. Yes. Now tell me that although we are subject to karmas, right? We will do some sins, then we will get bad karma. We will do some good activities, we will get good karma. But is Krishna under karmic reactions?
No.
Krishna is above karma, right? Can he ever come under karma? Under the three modes, Sattva gun, Rajagun, Tamagun, never, ever, ever, ever. He can never come. And can you become God? We also cannot. By any, if you do some austerity, can you become God? By some tapasya? By not even tapasya. When not even some austerity you can become. No. Yes. No. You can never, ever, ever become God. Not even by any austerity. By anything, any means, you will never become God. You are eternal servitors, servants of God. And God is always God. So therefore, he is called Achyuta. That means he can never fall down. Fall down where? In this material world. He can never fall down, being entangled in the three modes under karmas. But he comes to this material world as Krishna, as Lord Ram. We are saying on one side that he cannot ever fall down. He cannot, fall down to the material world. But still he comes to this material world. What does this mean? Yes?
There's adharma.
Yes, whenever there is adharma, he comes down to this material world. But if he comes to this material world, that means he will have to be under karmas, under the three modes. Yes, because he is coming in this material world. But we are saying that he never falls down. So how is it possible? Sahib? You know the answer. We've discussed it. Does anyone want to try? Mahir? Devin?
Sorry, what was the question?
I asked that, see, we are saying that Krishna is never subject to the three modes, never subject to being under karma, but then he also then he also comes to this material world. So if he comes to this material world, then he will have to take up the three modes. So how can we say that he does not fall down, he is infallible, he is not subject to the three modes, still he comes to this material world? How are these two contradicting statements possible?
Is it because he's always in the mode?
Yes, he's always
In the three modes?
in the three modes. No, he is the master of the three modes.
He's the controller, so even if he's there, it's not like it'll affect him since he controls it.
Yes, yes. So he comes out of his own sweet will. We are forced to take birth. We are forced to take birth as per our karmas and our past desires. We are forced to take birth as per the three modes of nature. But he comes out of his own sweet will. I will come to this material world. He is unaffected, always unaffected. Even if he comes here, he will be unaffected. Yes, because he is never under the three modes. He is always the controller of these three modes. The three modes cannot control him. If the three modes control Krishna, that will mean that the three modes are more powerful than Krishna. If someone is controlling someone, that means someone is more powerful than the other person. If the three modes start controlling Krishna, that will mean that the three modes are the master of Krishna. But Krishna is actually the master of everyone. How can the three modes be more powerful than Krishna? Krishna is the most powerful. No more than nothing can control Krishna. Yes. So even if he comes down to this material world, he appears. He does not take birth. Okay. I said that word by mistake. He appears. Yes, he comes out of his own sweet will. He is not forced. So this is what we have to learn here. And this is very important. This is why he is called Achyuta. He is the infallible one. Sahir, did you hear? I think your internet was okay. So Lord always remains Lord. He is not subject to any falling from his respect or position. He is actually the master of innumerable universes. He is the maintainer and protector. And do you know what does Partha Sarthi mean? Another word in your vocabulary for one more name of Krishna. Partha Sarthi. Do you know what does this mean? Partha Sarthi. No. So Parth is one name of Arjuna and Sarthi means driver. Do you know what role did Krishna assume on the battlefield of Kurukshetra in the
The
war
driver of the chariot.
of Arjuna?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Arjuna's chariot.
Therefore, he was called Partha Sarthi. Being called a driver, is this a respect or disrespect, right? Being called a driver. Who is Krishna? He is the master of everyone, the controller of innumerable universes. And being called him as a driver? We have one temple here in ISKCON, Delhi, main temple. Do you know what is the name of the temple? Radha Partha Sarthi Mandir. The whole temple, the biggest temple here of our headquarters, Delhi temple, is called Radha Partha Sarthi Mandir. For years and years, now Krishna is being worshipped. Oh, driver, we worship you. Driver, we offer our flowers to you. Driver, we offer our garland to you. Driver, we offer our pranam to you. For years and years, if someone drives someone's car and being called a driver is actually a stamp of disrespect. And for years and years, we are calling Krishna driver only because he drove Arjun's chariot for 18 days. Only 18 days. He was not a driver by post, that he has got job as a driver. Only for 18 days he drove Arjun's chariot. And now he is called Radha Partha Sarthi Mandir. Driver, we worship you. Krishna assumes every post for his devotee. Do you know, he carries the sandals of Nanda Maharaj on his head. He takes up the service of shoe stall. If we are given the service of shoe stall, we would say, Prabhuji, don't you know, I am practicing bhakti from months. And Krishna, who is Krishna? And he takes up the service of shoe stall. This gives us a hint to one opulence of Krishna. Who will tell? Out of the 6 opulences, this
Humility.
Yes.
I was gonna say humility.
Yes, humility. This is but one specific opulence that we learned. Humility comes under that, but one specific opulence are the 6 opulences that we learned. Beauty.
Renunciation.
Yes. Yes, renunciation. He is all renounced. Who is Krishna? Possessing all the beauty, all the strength, all the fame, all the opulence, everything Krishna has. But even after having everything, he is fully renounced. Yes. So it is not that because Krishna became the driver, so Arjun also started treating Krishna as driver. No. Arjun knew he is my Lord, he was my Lord, he will always be my Lord. And Krishna knew that he is the Lord of my life. But because of so much love for his devotees, he becomes driver. He becomes the shoe carrier. So this is the love of Krishna. But in any form, even as stone, do you know what is Shaligram? You must have seen some Shaligrams. We worship Shaligrams. I will show you in one image. What is Shaligram? See, have you seen people, devotees worshipping this? This is called Shaligram Shilas. Many times when you go to some devotee's home or even in the temple, you will see these Shaligram being worshipped. So these Shaligrams are actually Krishna himself, manifest in the form of stone. So even if being a stone, or Matsya avatar as a fish, Kurma avatar as a tortoise, Varha avatar as a boar, he is worshipable in all forms, in all situations, in all circumstances. Yes, in every situation, Krishna is worshipable. So therefore, he is called Achyuta. Another meaning of Achyuta is that he can never commit any mistake. He is all perfect. Therefore, the Lord drove actually the car of Whom? Of Arjuna. You know, the whole battlefield of Kurukshetra was Rana Nadi. The ocean, it was like an ocean which was very difficult to cross. An ocean of blood. Ocean of blood. That was the battlefield of Kurukshetra, ocean of blood. And it was very difficult to cross that ocean. But with Krishna, so easy. Krishna just drove everyone to the shore of his kingdom from the ocean of death. Yes. And then what does Arjuna ask Krishna in this verse? That Krishna, please place my chariot between both the armies. Please place my rath between both the armies. Do you know how great driver Krishna was? Do you know who is Karna? Have you heard the name of Karna? Arpan, do you know?
Yes, son of Kunti.
Yes. So there were 5 Pandavas, another brother also. But that brother was on the side of the Kauravas. His name was Karna. And he wanted to kill Arjuna. So he was a great archer. Great archer. He loaded an arrow on his bow, which had a snake in that arrow, and it was full of celestial poison. And he wanted to shoot directly that arrow on the neck of Arjuna. And his aim was directly upon the neck of Arjuna, and he would have been killed at one shot. Arjuna would have been dead. And when he placed that arrow and when he shot that arrow, every demigod was fearing that what will happen now. But everyone had faith on whom? On that driver which was sitting in front of Arjuna. When that arrow was being shot by Karna, Krishna made the horses sit down and it had to hit here, but when the horses sat down, so it actually hit the helmet of Arjuna, and at once the helmet was in ashes. And then Arjuna was like, oh, what happened, my helmet? And Krishna was like, don't worry, everything is sorted. He did not even let Arjuna know what happened. Such a great driver was Krishna. So with what power did the Pandavas win the war of Mahabharata? Only with the help of that driver. That driver drove the whole war of Mahabharata. This was actually the power, that the driver drove the whole war of Mahabharata. Yes. So this is the magnanimity and the love of Krishna that he holds for his devotees. Yes, so we'll read the purport once and then we will conclude our session. Once again. Yes. So, who will read the purport? Maybe Sahir can read this paragraph.
Although Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, out of his causeless mercy he was engaged in the service of his friend. He never fails in affection for his devotees, and thus he is addressed herein as infallible. As charioteer, he had to carry out the orders of Arjuna. And since he did not hesitate to do so, he is addressed as infallible. Although he had accepted the position of a charioteer for his devotee, his supreme position was not challenged. In all circumstances, his servitor is very sweet and transcendental. The servitor is always ready to render service to the Lord.
In all circumstances, this line we missed.
Oh. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Rishikesha, the Lord of the total senses. The relationship between the Lord and his servitor is very sweet and transcendental. The servitor is always ready to render service to the Lord, and similarly, the Lord is always seeking an opportunity to render some service to the devotee. He takes great pleasure in his pure devotees assuming the advantages advantageous position of ordering him than he does in being the giver of orders. Since he is the master, everyone is under his orders, and no one is above him to order him. But when he finds that a pure devotee is ordering him, he obtains transcendental pleasure, although he is the infallible master in all circumstances.
Yes. So
Do
basically
I
it's written. So basically it's written that Krishna is tired of being God. Everyone comes to Krishna, he says, please accept our humble obeisances. Please accept these flowers. Please accept these garlands. Krishna is saying, Bas ho gaya. It's enough. Done. I am fed up and bored of being God. Fed up of, just standing like with a flute here, standing erect. I am bored of being God. So what does he say? Now, therefore, he always finds great pleasure in, he takes greater pleasure in his pure devotees, assuming the advantageous position of ordering him than he does in being the giver of orders. So he always finds situations and circumstances in which he could serve his devotees. So there is a competition which is going on. God is trying to serve the devotees and the devotees are trying to serve God. God is saying, oh, I am tired of being God. Now I will want to serve you. You give me orders. Now I will not give you orders. Although I am the order giver. Everyone is under my orders. But I will take orders from my dear devotees. And devotees will say, no. How can we give you orders, my Lord? You only give us orders. So God is always trying to find circumstances and situations to serve his devotees. This is actually the magnanimity and the love and the compassion God holds in his heart always. Yes. So, Shrey, can you read this paragraph?
As a pure devotee of the Lord, Arjuna had no desire to fight with his cousins and brothers, but he was forced to come onto the battlefield by the obstinacy of Duryodhana, who was never agreeable to any peaceful negotiation. Therefore, he was very anxious to see who the leading person on the battlefield were. Although there was no question of a peacemaking endeavor on the battlefield, he wanted to see them again and how much they were bent upon demanding an unwanted war.
Yes. So, did you understand? That he did not want to fight. He was a pure devotee. But because of this obstinacy of Duryodhan, that he was demanding for a war. So he had to come on the battlefield. Who was not, and Duryodhan was never agreeable to a peaceful negotiation, not even wanting to give the land equivalent to the tip of a needle. What peaceful negotiation will Duryodhan do? Yes, and therefore they had to execute the war of Mahabharata. So this is where we've completed our 3 verses of today. Everyone can one by one share one point what they understood from today. Yes, starting with David.
I found it interesting that Krishna is still known as the controller of all senses, even though Krishna is free and not bound by any of them, he still controls them and uses them accordingly.
Yes, thank you. Sahib?
I thought I didn't know that Hanuman played such a significant role on the battlefield, and I think it was good to know about that.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Shrey?
It was cool to figure out how when Krishna gets bored of being God, he likes to come and serve his devotees.
Yes. Yes, Arpan?
Same aside, I learned the story behind how Hanuman was on the flag of Arjun's chariot.
Yes, thank you so much. Mahir, are you there? Maybe he's at some other play.
Now I am there. So the last part that am I audible?
Yes.
The last part that of the Parth Sarthi, where Krishna can become a driver for his devotee. So that was the part.
Yes, thank you so much everyone for coming in today's session. So As I told you, although we're not left with any time, so maybe I will discuss the test tomorrow with all of you. But I request Mahesh, Shrey, Devin, Sahir, Arpan, all of you five to go through the test at least once that I've sent you through WhatsApp. Yes.
The test is gonna be on the 27th, right?
Yes. So that is the final test. Yes, that is.
So I won't be there. I'm gonna be at Yellowstone National Park.
Mhm.
So can I take
I
the
won't be
test
there
when I
either.
get back? Yeah.
Me and him both won't be there.
Okay, so the test is not on the 27th, it's on the 28th. So on the 28th,
We still won't be there.
Yeah, we're coming back on the 1st.
okay, so maybe we can postpone the date of the test, maybe next.
Yeah, we can. We may just skip that weekend. So since they both will be missing it,
Yes.
we'll just skip that weekend completely then, and we can give some homework to Devin and Sahir and Mahir to do on that weekend.
Mhm. Yes.
Yeah.
So
27th and 28th, right?
Yes.
July. Okay.
so maybe
Yeah.
are you available? Is every one of you available on the 3rd of August if we take our final exam on that?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, 3rd of August, this Saturday. My
I think so. We might have something, but if we do, I'll ask if I can stay home and take the test.
okay, so you can tell me 3rd or 4th? 3rd or the 4th of August?
Okay, I can't do the 4th.
Okay, so
We're gonna go do Aarti or whatever at our new house.
So 4th.
works.
Okay.
So
Thank you so much. Yeah. So, everybody for joining, and we can conclude it by saying Hare Krishna Mahamantra and thanking Vrinda Mata for helping us. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you.
thank you.